I had always prided myself on being blunt, fearless, and unapologetically honest, or at least, that's what I told myself. But some truths, once spoken, have consequences that ripple farther than you imagine. That night, during a quiet dinner at home, I decided to lay it all bare. I looked at my husband across the table and said it without hesitation. I married you because real men weren't available. The words hung in the air like a knife. I expected anger, perhaps a heated argument, maybe even tears. Instead, I saw something else. A flash of understanding, a deep, unnerving calm that unsettled me far more than fury ever could. He didn't shout. He didn't accuse. He simply nodded, absorbing the truth, as if he had been waiting for this moment all along. I tried to laugh it off, attempting to soften the blow, to frame it as sarcasm or jest. I mean, you're nice and all, but I started, only to be cut off by his calm, steady voice. I hear you, he said simply. That was it. No outburst, no drama. Just a quiet acknowledgement that my words had power, and that he knew exactly how to respond. That night, I went to bed expecting tension, expecting a fight, maybe even hoping for reconciliation after a storm of emotions. But he didn't sleep in the house. He didn't text. He didn't plead or negotiate. He left. Quietly. Deliberately. And in that silence, I felt the first pang of real fear. By morning, it became clear that his response wasn't impulsive. It was decisive. He had already begun replacing the space I once occupied in our life. I saw it in small, subtle ways first. A message from a friend, a change in his tone, hints that someone else had become part of his daily thoughts. He didn't make a scene. He didn't humiliate me publicly. He acted with quiet precision, the kind that leaves no room for charm, manipulation, or excuses. I panicked, realizing too late that my words had consequences I hadn't considered. My admission, intended as casual honesty, had stripped me of the place I thought was secure in his life. He hadn't reacted with anger because he didn't need to. His response was far more effective. He had moved on while I was still reeling from my own recklessness. Over the next days, I tried to repair, to charm, to manipulate, to convince him that my words weren't truly representative of my feelings. But he remained unshaken, calm, and deliberate. Every attempt I made to reclaim the space I had lost only highlighted the clarity and resolve he had exercised in replacing me. He had no need for confrontation because he had already acted on his own terms. As the days turned into weeks, it became painfully obvious that his decision was final. I watched helplessly as he rebuilt his life around someone who respected him, someone who valued the trust and commitment he offered. My attempts to reach him were met with polite distance, a reminder that my words had consequences that I couldn't undo. The humiliation wasn't public. There was no dramatic confrontation in front of friends or family. The true sting came in quiet moments, realizing that my careless honesty had cost me my place in his life, that my pride and impulsive words had invited someone else to take the life I once shared. The replacement had been swift, silent, and undeniable. I tried to rationalize it at first. Perhaps he had overreacted. Perhaps he could have forgiven. But deep down, I understood. Relationships are fragile when honesty is weaponized or carelessly wielded. My admission had undermined the very foundation I had assumed was secure. And he had responded with precision, showing me exactly what it means to act when trust is broken. Months later, I caught glimpses of him living a life I had once shared, smiling, happy, respected, and loved by someone who valued him. I realized that my impulsiveness, my arrogance, and my casual disregard for his feelings had created a vacuum that was quickly filled by someone who deserved him. The lesson was brutal, clear, and unforgettable. Words have weight. Actions have consequences. And honesty, when used carelessly, can dismantle everything you thought was unshakable. My husband hadn't yelled, hadn't demanded, hadn't retaliated. He had simply replaced me, proving that betrayal doesn't always come with drama. it often comes with quiet, deliberate action. I was left to reflect on my choices, to confront the reality I had created, and to realize that sometimes the most painful lessons are learned not through confrontation, but through the calm, unshakable consequences of your own recklessness. He hadn't needed revenge. He had simply moved on. And that, more than anything, was the lesson I would never forget. Underestimate a person wronged, and they don't always strike back. They sometimes just rebuild without you.